The way students communicate has changed from the previous generation. And a new initiative covering mental health and wellbeing is moving the University of Sheffield right into line with what today's students expect.
What we were trying to do was to respond to the way that students typically these days use the internet to search for information and communicate with one another through social media. So we wanted to kind of bridge the gap between the university, which tends to be more traditional, and students in terms of communication style. We also wanted to create a one-stop location online where students could go to find information about mental health and wellbeing. And we wanted to help students help themselves, so providing that kind of information online, focused on practical strategies very much. And lastly, we wanted to create a vehicle through which we could communicate with students in a very interactive way, maybe focused or helping us reach students that have been hard to reach previously, and also help us carry out mental health and wellbeing promotion campaigns online.
With this vision, the Well Connected team set about their research, including a review of what was already online.
Yeah. Nice and engaging, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks kind of engaging and bright, so yeah, I think that's a really good one.
And crucially, they involved students. At the time, Matt Denton, on the left, was a student welfare officer, and Jonathan Gleek, a student consultant on the project.
Should we go in? Cool.
Well, it's been a really positive experience for students shaping this project. We've had student consultants involved in every single meeting throughout making the project, and also student societies, student committees have also been really involved with design and also the content as well.
And I think what's quite important about student involvement, it's a very visual project, and so we've been able to ensure that it really is kind of accessible and suits students rather than being cold and clunky. And all the feedback we've had has been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone I've talked to said it's great. I think what's really good is that it's accessible on so many platforms, so for students you can get it on your phone if you need it. And it's also all on one website. It's got so much information on there, so it's got everything you need on there. You don't have to traipse through 50 websites to get it. It's just one place to get your information.
And the fact that it's all on one website makes it really accessible. You can just log in at home in your student room in halls, maybe take a snapshot on your phone on a QR code or something like that.
So how can students use the site? Well, the site is both a hub and a destination website. The destination in that students can go to the site and it's full of great content written in a very practical how-to guides, strategies, tips, advice, and that's in a cognitive behavioural sort of way. It's also a hub because the students can go and it springs them out to other content because we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. But it also allows students to communicate with us in a way that works with them through the social media, through the blogs, through the website, and that can signpost them to extra support as well.
But what's the students' view?
The website's visually great, it feels really friendly and quite warm, and it's produced by the university, so you know it's trustworthy. It provides practical advice aimed at students no matter what their needs. And what's really good about the whole thing is that it has a constant Facebook and Twitter presence, so there's always tips and advice and links available. And it helps students to help themselves. There's a list of all the things the website covers, for example, academic pressures, confidence and self-esteem, and anxiety, as well as a lot more. Let's just have a look at confidence and self-esteem. There's some text explaining what confidence and self-esteem issues might be, some practical strategies on how to deal with these issues, and also links to a range of other resources that might be videos, more text, even questionnaires. So there's also the self-check facility, which if you just follow the link at the top and then you just log in. So from here, there's 34 questions to answer based on how you've been feeling over the last week. So here's the personalised report based on the answers to the questions. So it gives you a score out of 40, I scored 9. And from this, it identifies any risks that might be relevant to your answers. And this is available to any student. It's completely confidential. And it's really useful because it can help clarify some issues. If you know you're having trouble but you can't really put a name to it or exactly say what it is, the report helps you with that. Finally, it gives you a summary and suggests what might be the necessary next step, and it provides some useful links to kind of things like the health service or the counselling service. What's really good about this report is it's based on a well-respected psychological test that they use in the NHS, so that you know the answers are good. Click print. So the self-check summary is really useful because it helps staff help students. So if you meet with staff, with them you can have a discussion and it will help you get to the heart of the issue and identify what sources of help might be relevant to you.
I think it's probably all related to exam stress, and that's really caused me anxiety.
I think the other way that the site helps students is when they're concerned about someone else. There's a number of pages on there when they're concerned about a friend, and there's some practical advice there for what they can do.
Quite often you might have a friend who has might have some emotional needs, and you can direct them towards the website and it might be able to help them. And finally, students can help each other. You can post your own experiences on it and it kind of creates a community of helping each other, which can be really useful.
Well, in terms of what we learned, I think probably one thing is that the digital way of doing things has to be complementary to existing services, which are very good and very necessary and can't be replaced by this approach. But we could also say that we've probably broken the mould a bit in the sense that this puts us in a more proactive position, not just waiting for the students with difficulties come to us, but actually putting something out there that student can work with under their own steam, if you like, and then come to us if they need to.
Take a seat. Cheers.
I think we've learnt a lot about digital strategy in this context, particularly the idea of using the website as a communications hub, which I think is a really powerful idea. One area of difficulty for us has been, and this is a bit of learning too, is getting students to contribute content to the site, which is one of our initial aims. We're still working on that, and we think that once the site's up and running and well known and visible, then students will feel more comfortable about contributing to it. In terms of what we hope it'll achieve in the longer term, well, we hope that it'll further reduce the stigma around student mental health. We hope we can engage students more in thinking about and acting on their mental health and well-being. And we hope we can provide well-researched support to students, even those who don't come to us in person.
So having now taken over as the welfare officer here in the Students' Union, I'm really looking to help build the Well Connected project with loads of involvement from staff and students. But far more importantly, I'm really looking forward to Well Connected being a fantastic mental health resource here at the University of Sheffield.